always a pleasure to get to chat to you both about music and your collaboration. What was the connection that you had when this came up, in terms of working on it? Why did you want to be part of it? Why did you want to create for it?
Cillian, I've met Cillian already. I think we'd chatted, and because he's so, he loves his music so much, we chatted, and I think he came to see a Beat gig actually, and and we've been chatting for a while, and then we were going to work on something together. It didn't work out, and then
then this, we heard about this, and just thought, well, it sounded right up our street. Yeah. But also, Alan then just came over. The producer, Alan, came over with a cut of the film over to Bristol, didn't he?
Well, no, he lives near Bristol anyway.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I thought that as well. But no, I think he lives in Somerset somewhere.
We watched a cut of the film, and
from the start, it was like usually, when you watch a rough edit of something, is assembly cut or whatever, you just kind of go, we get it, it's an assembly cut. This was like absolutely spot on. Yeah. It was like whoever edited it. I know the name of the person who edited it. I can't remember now, but yeah, I think she was absolutely
spot on. And her music choices as well, or the choices between them. The drum and bass that was in there.
Yeah,
it was mapped out much more than almost any other film we've worked on in terms of like the temperature of it, what we needed to do, and it wasn't even there was no, Alan said, so are you up for it? And we were like, well, what do you think, mate? It's like, of course. And that was it really. So it was a pretty simple thing. You met Cillian, decided it'd be great to work together at some point. We saw this and was like, yeah,
we're in.
Yeah. And then not just that, just what the film was about. That alongside was just, this has to be.
It's a really important film, I think. I think for a lot of reasons, it kind of really stays with you as well. And it's I think that the music within it is so important, in terms of for that character for Shy and the other boys as well, in terms of remember being that age and kind of almost like music being the only thing that understood you, or the only thing that you had, or the thing that made you feel safe, or it made you, it made you feel in a way.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I wanted to ask you is when you saw that rough cut, if that side of it was already in there, if they had that, that kind of sonic thing of those boys and that world already embedded in there.
Yeah, well, I think Max wrote that in.
Did he?
Yeah, really early. I think they're all massive like music fans, but especially Max,
with the drum and bass,
with the drum and bass, and the time period, and just the other day I saw them do a Q&A, and he was talking about Kruger and Deutschmaster. He had to listen to that in his car on the way, and then Shy would listen to his drum and bass.
And he was very specific about it as well, because we had sort of input into it, and he was like, no, it's got to be this. Here are 3 or 4 tracks that it's got to be. These will be what Shy would be listening to at that time, and it was like, and we were lucky enough to then, Matt, who wrote one of the integral drum and bass pieces that's in the film. We were lucky enough to get
chat with him and like slip Matt basically. There was some kind of issue with the track and might not be able to get it and so on. So we just got a hold of him and just said, look, what can we do? What can we help to kind of get this through? Because it needs to be this track. And then so he did some re-recordings as well, and then we had to make sure that it wasn't just like a needle drop. It was just an integral part of the score. Yeah. Vocals were stretched out, and we would incorporate that into the score itself. And just, so it wasn't just like, even though it does kind of go bang.
Yeah.
And it has that effect. It's still, if you listen to the score, it's actually there's stuff from the drum and bass stuff happening in the score earlier. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Did that form the basis then of almost your jumping off point in a way, in terms of?
Yeah, there were a number of jumping off points. Obviously, the drum and bass is probably the number one. And then how do you do a score that's got to be very, very different to drum and bass, but keep an element of that feel, of that vibe, but also the sort of way the film is structured. It's quite a strange way that you go from this very sort of handheld documentary type feel where you don't need any music.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it just starts to shift. And it was, we had a lot of conversations about, you can't have music over any of the opening section apart from, in-world stuff, diegetic stuff that Shai is listening to. And, we've got to creep in somewhere sort of without being noticed. And what would that... So other sort of guiding principles were we talked about, the music could, when it first hear it, you could sort of go, is that music or is that just the sound of the pipes or in the school?
In the washing room. Yeah.
And Steve with his dictaphone, that played a part as well, sort of slightly mangled voices that might sound like... So there are all these sort of things, and the music is incredibly subliminal at the start. And then we had to find a way of sort of weaving it a bit
playing
further.
Inside of Steve's head.
Yeah.
So the tension, it starts growing with him.
Yeah.
With how the tension starts,
Yeah.
And he kind of goes in really positive in the day, and obviously he's really struggling. But then the struggle really, like when he's trying to teach.
Yeah.
And you can see, and his sort of addictions and so
frenetic energy almost that he has in a way.
And we really want to be careful as well because, our vibe always was we don't need to overscore this.
Yeah.
The performances are amazing.
Literally
the editing's amazing. The dialogue, screenplay. You could kill it with over emotion. So our thing actually was Ben's really simple piano motif that let's not make this. There's strings at the end. And it's slightly, it's an emotional piece at the end, but it wasn't like it was singular strings, solo strings, quartet stuff rather than big orchestras because I think it would have killed it.
Yeah.
I think, when you get those films, they're trying to punch you into kind of feeling something. You didn't have to. You only got to look at Jay's eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he's walking into the water, you don't need...
Yeah.
It's almost like you could have done the whole film without music, really. But we would... But we kept on saying that. Let's not go mad here because it's an amazing piece of drama,
Yeah.
But that's amazing testament to kind of how much you appreciate the collaboration between everybody on a project like this, in terms of but also feeling the story yourselves, and having a feeling about what it needs and what it doesn't need.
Yeah. And that, as we said earlier, was sort of there from the very first time we watched a rough cut, and that sort of shape of it, and knowing knowing it needed to get to this emotional end, but just seeding it very slightly throughout the score. So you've got this very minimal start beginning to the score. You've also got elements of psychedelia that you've got to go to in Killian's head.
When he's kind of tripping, really.
Yeah. But then, as Geoff said, we've got to get something in there that takes us on an emotional journey without us really realising that we're, so maybe like a really simple piano that could even be like a piano they found in the corridor, played in a way by someone who just went plonk, 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 and was playing 5 notes, and has got nothing to it, at all musically, really.
Yeah.
But if you can just seed that in and then maybe make that more musical as you go on, and those very, very simple chords that could be played by a child actually become the chords for the emotional piece at the end. And that's a way of hopefully making it not feel just tagged on. That was our aim.
Because there could have been there's so much going on in the film, really. There's a lot, in terms of the kind of journey that we go on. You feel like you're watching a play at times as well, because it's so... and I heard that Killian was saying that they shot it in kind of, chronological, which is a gift for them as well.
So it's rare, isn't it?
You really feel that kind of tension building as you go through it naturally. But the different characters, the different relationships that are going on, the kind of fractions, and then the kind of external nature of people coming into all these things kind of going on, that there is so much that you could have wanted to or needed to kind of attach music to, but the fact that it's almost like there's a focus for where the music needs to sit and sit around. Is genius.
No, it was like, where can we please not play music?
And even right at the very
you know
end,
what I mean?
even right at the sort of final mix stage, we were stripping stuff out. And brilliant sound guy in St. John and Tim, obviously brilliant director, and they were sort of game for that. They were trying things with sound right towards the end at Abbey Road, and we were saying, let's take the music back a bit here.
Let's let them sound design work and
Yeah. Does it work? Because it's so interesting. Like each project, requires a different. It's like starting again with every project, isn't it? It's kind of you kind of like the conversation we've just had is kind of like, where are you starting from? When you both kind of when you get the rough cut and stuff, do you kind of just the two of you sit and chat about it and kind of and just
I mean, normally the sitting chatting is the longest period in a way. I mean, sitting, chatting, and messing around. And coming up with, the actual writing of film music. Once you know where you're at and you've got a palette of sounds and a clear idea, it sort of can happen fairly quickly. The getting to that stage is almost the fun part. And with this, actually, it did happen quite quickly with this because we were given so much information to base those conversations on. So almost as soon as we watched,
it was very organised when we got it, and that's a dream.
It's because it's the performances that you mention. Is that something you like to influence what you write, how you write? Because sometimes when I've spoken to composers, they'll go, if it had been a different actor playing this role, the score would have been completely different. How much the performances are influencing?
I think, like I said, I just think they were so powerful.
Yeah,
that's more it. Yeah, it's not about who was doing it, although the fact that it was these. I mean, I haven't seen performances from young people that good.
And Tracy Ullman.
Oh wow!
Oh my God!
Yeah, amazing.
Please more. Do you know what I mean?
Well, everybody. I mean,
Sim,
everybody. Like
Sims is amazing in this.
Can I be honest with you? I didn't know it was her until 2 or 3 months into the project.
No.
I had no idea.
Because
they kept on talking about Little Sim, and I was like going, has she written a track for the end or something like that?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's her.
It literally was when Killian said, we're thinking about getting Sims to do a track for the end, and we both went, that's a great idea. We really love her music. Yeah. And then it's like, sort of, but what? Oh, that's why.
We just didn't know. We just didn't know. And she was amazing in it.
Is she great?
Yeah.
I mean, God.
Everybody, like Tracy Ullman, it's just, you just go, wow.
Yeah, the casting's amazing. The kids in that, the way that they've been able to cast those kids and capture that environment and those relationships and that energy and that kind of just fraughtness.
And we all knew kids like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
and you don't want to,
like that,
and you don't want to get in the way of that, because that, I mean, when we saw the kids and the way they interact, the realness of those performances, there's literally no way you want to enhance fight scenes with dramatic music. But you just it's happening. It's properly happening in front of you, and you're immersed.
Well, it's documentary, isn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as you put music into a documentary style, you just go, oh no.
Yeah.
So we had to be very careful. It's where it becomes more cinematic, filmic. And it treads that line amazingly. I think it's quite a strange film in that respect, that it goes from this very handheld thing to quite cinematic moments.
Yeah.
And that's where the music can help make that seem, hopefully make that transition into that change of cinematic style seem justified.
Also, I must say that it's really weird because they shot it down near Frome, didn't they?
Yeah.
And the local news team actually is where we live, the local news team.
Points West.
So Points West, actually, when they said it was Points West, it's like, oh no, this is good. When we first watched it, this is going to be horrific. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Points West, I think in the past, they would have been like that, going through whatever. And I'm sure they're not like that now. I don't want to get sued. But I mean, it was like that local news TV trying to get an angle, and you just think,
local news wanting to be panorama.
Basically. Exactly.
Yeah, totally. It would be remiss of me to kind of have you here not just quickly say congratulations on Civil War as well, which I didn't get the chance to kind of chat to you about, and got the chance to chat to Alex about that. What a film.
Well, that was a kind of similar thing in a sense of like, how little music we can put into it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we wrote 4 scores for that, I reckon.
Did you?
Yeah, but we always do with
Just
Alex,
bank
you know?
those.
Yeah.
We've got 4 if anyone wants them. They're just kind of, it was that was a long time, wasn't it, working on that film? And
to decide that we all got back to the stage that the conversations we had right at the beginning. It just doesn't need very much music.
But when it is there, it's impactful. That's the thing.
And it's like 9.5 minutes in the whole film, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the least amount of music you've written in a film?
That's ended up Alex, by a mile. A million miles.
Yeah, because he, you know, like Ex Machina is just wall to wall music.
And,
you know,
and there's always like a 15-minute scene where it's just music, you know, which is great for us. But this was good to do the
opposite. Yeah.
Well, what kind of is that thing where, isn't it, where as composers you've got you're facilitating the story and the character. It's the bigger picture. Yeah. And I guess that was one I mean, those needle drops are genius. You know, in terms of kind of like the kind of way that they literally turn things around, or you're like, what? You know, De La Soul and all that. It's like it's amazing.
De La Soul was the one because it was like that was Alex.
Scene.
Yeah, we scored that scene
about 3-4 different times.
Yeah.
And then when
Not
Alex,
better at
no, but then when Alex said, "I've just come up with this idea. I'm going to put De La Soul over that sequence to see what you think." And we honestly thought he was joking. And then we saw it and we're like, "Oh, I get what you mean."
Well, it doesn't work.
Yeah, because it doesn't work.
Because it doesn't work, and it's like how many layers of Alex Garland can you? Can you go? And they're all genius, basically. In the end, don't they? You know.
With Invader and the kind of the support you've given sort of, you know, film music and releases and things, that is incredible, and so excited about Invader Films.
Yeah.
And that being a similar kind of brilliant platform for, you know, independent and new filmmakers as well, and games about to kind of come.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I mean, you know, we've just launched the trailer to Invader Films' first film. We've, you know, both worked on it, and
great.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredibly low budget, and we're at the very starts of things. But Jason Williams, you know, and Mark, it's just a two-hander.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of exciting times. It's got just a new, you know, I like new challenges, and this is it really.
What do you want it to be, Invader Films? What's the kind of the aim for it, really?
Kind of, obviously, I think with the way with British films at the moment, we can't compete with, like, you know, $50 million A24 films, you know, and they're amazing, but we're just, you know, so I think, you know, low budget, but with stuff that appeals, you know, it's stuff that appeals that is interesting stories, really. You know, I mean, we've made game for 160,000, you know.
Which is unheard of,
And so it's nice to have a little bit more than that, of course. You know what I mean? But
it just shows you what you can do, because it's really powerful.
What you can do, and you only look at like things, you know, like Blair Witch, and you look at those films that were made very, very cheaply, and it's just, and I think that with technology now, you can, young people. Not just young people, the people who want to make a film all their life, you know what I mean, and done some other job, and now they get, you know, because of cameras and Apple Macs and everything else, they can do that. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, you know, we've got to find a proper home for, you know, game first, and then, but it's going to be in cinemas in November, so I can get my plug in there, basically.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. We'll be doing it close to the time, don't you?
Yeah, great.
Look forward to what's next from you both, and congratulations on Steve. It's great to chat to you as always.